Good morning, everyone, and welcome to Think Future. My name is Chris Kalaboukis, and once again, we're coming at you live from deep in the heart of Silicon Valley, California. We're talking innovation startups, the future. Not necessarily those, and not necessarily in that order. If you're watching on YouTube, smack that subscribe button and hit that bell so you can be notified when a new show comes online. And if you're listening on your favorite podcast service, please subscribe and please drop a note on Apple Podcasts. I'd greatly appreciate it. So, did you miss me? Did you miss me? I've only been gone for about a month or so. I'm sure that you've spent lots of time going through our back catalog of, why do I say our? It's just me. Back catalog of 669 episodes, although this is probably 670th episode. I forget. I'm not sure if the numbers are correct. But I got to say, I had a great time. It was a lot of fun. I'm relaxed. I'm raring to go. I've seen a lot of things, and I thought a lot of things were amazing. History is amazing. Now, personally, history is interesting to me, but the future is, of course, more interesting to me, although I have heard that the future is not that interesting to a lot of people, but I digress. I won't go there just yet. What I noticed over the last little while, something I came back to, which I thought was really cool, was that everyone is familiar with DALL-E and these tools that create images, right? You put in a bunch of phrases, you put just a phrase in, and it creates an amazing image. I think Cosmo Magazine used that as an image on their cover, something that DALL-E created. And when I got back, I realized that Meta, or Facebook, or whatever you want to call them, had done something similar for video. I mean, basically, it cobbled together a bunch of DALL-E and said, you take this phrase, and instead of making it a still, make it a video. So, for example, you could say something like, flying saucer landing in the desert. And it would create an image of a flying saucer landing in the desert, probably by cobbling together a bunch of DALL-E style images. So going back to the OpenAI API, pulling these images together and actually showing a flying saucer landing in the desert. And I thought to myself, this is so cool. Of course, what ended up happening is a lot of creators looked at it and said, oh my God, this is the worst possible thing that could happen. This is horrible. Horrible. This is taking away our livelihood, our creativity. It's disappearing in front of us. AI is taking our jobs. Why do I laugh at that? I mean, some of you are out there are creators. You're serious about this. You think that AI is going to take your job. Because if you look at some of the stuff that it creates, it's not bad. It's not bad. You could see how, with work, it could be pretty damn good. Now, some people say, well, you know, it's never going to be as good as something human beings create. And it's true. It's never going to be something as good as human beings create. But if you think about what AI does, AI creates things based on things that we've already created, right? So when you say to an AI, flying saucer, it's not going to take a plate. It's not going to take the concept of flying and a plate and put them together. It's going to go out there looking for things that we as human beings believe look like flying saucers. And a flying saucer looks like some kind of an alien ship. It's a round alien ship that seems to fly or levitate or gravitate or whatever without any types of engines that we're used to. So these AI movies are being created based on what human beings feel a flying saucer looks like. So if you think about it, AI can never really create anything new because it's using the vast history of images and videos that we've already created, human beings have already created, in order to create this new, supposedly new image. But then if you think about it, isn't that exactly what human beings do? Human beings, if you are a designer, if you are an artist, and you want to portray a flying saucer, are you going to portray a flying saucer that doesn't look like a flying saucer, or are you going to create a flying saucer that looks like a flying saucer? But it's because you want your audience to see a flying saucer. It's all about context. And what AI is doing is it's reusing elements that we already as human beings have created. And if you think about it, lazy creators do that same thing. They don't create anything new and different. They just take what's already there and slightly change it in order to come up with something new. They don't innovate. They don't create. They don't come up with something totally brand new or something that's so on the edge that it's not something an AI can come up with. This is why I'm not too worried. This is why I think AI imagery, AI movies, these things are more tools that digital artists like yourself, so if you are out there and you're a digital artist and you're worried that AI is going to take your job, all you need to do is use it as a tool. Understand its limitations, because it has many, many limitations. It cannot create something brand new. It cannot create something that's totally never been seen before. I mean, appears to be that, because it could create juxtapositions and combinations and things that appear to be brand new to the human eye. But the reality is, it's just a random combination of things. It has not thought about how to put these things together. We take that, what we see, and we extrapolate it into something to make us think it is something, when it really is nothing. There's no intelligence back there driving this thing other than the sum total of human intelligences that it has randomly slapped together to create this new thing. So if I was a creator, a designer, an artist, I would leap into this, both feet forward, and go, how can I use this as a tool to improve my work or to create new work which I can then improve on. I would be sitting down there and trying to come up with phraseology, paragraphs of text that this tool could take to create new kinds of imagery and say, here, this is the imagery I created. The AI didn't create it. It used my words, my terminology to create this imagery. It is my creation. It's copyright me. If I take those exact same words and I shove them into the same processor, it's going to create the same thing. I am the creator. Humans are the creators. These AI movies, these AI images, they are simply the tools. So I wouldn't worry about it so much. I'm not saying that at some point in the future we might see things that look as good as what a human being can create. But if you look at it now, if you look at it today, if you look at everything that AI can generate today, doesn't it seem a little bit soulless? That it doesn't have the spark, the soul, the creativity that a human being would be able to place into these things. Just take a look at it. Next time you see these DALL-E images or AI movies that Meta has created, watch them and say, is there a human spark there? Is there soul in this image? Is there a soul in this movie? And if not, then you know it was computer generated. This is why it really annoys me when I see things like Avatar and these computer CGI movies where we all know this is CGI. It's not realistic. No one is really in danger. So the reality is that this is a tool. This is yet another tool, and if we use it properly and modify it properly, then it could be the most amazing tool artists could ever have. So look at it that way. Don't think it's taking your job. Think, here's another tool I can use to be the best. That's it for me for today. See you next time, and until then, don't forget to think future.